Hi, this is Mark with your analysis for the week commencing 7th of February. Just going to have a quick flick through some of the weekly charts. This is the British pound dollar on a monthly. The reason I put this one up, you can see here we've clearly had a 5-8 cross. We have clearly broken the 6-8 month previous support area, and price is now below there. Stochastics are turning down as well. So as we were saying last week, we were either looking for a bounce back up here, or as I said to you later in the week, I suspected this was going to break through. So the way to play this, excuse me, as you can see here, this is the pound dollar on a weekly chart, and as you know, I look for multiple reasons. Well, at the moment, price is outside the Bollinger Band. Having said that, it could push down here, but I will be looking in the region of 158 next week to short, because we have the 50% fib in the same area, and as I said before, this was a major area of support and resistance. The last time it broke as resistance was on the way up in April last year, and it had held on numerous occasions on the way back down. So we've had a breakout. We're now looking for a pullback. Final line in the sand would be up around 159, but we are getting a long way up there. But the reason is then we're at 61.8 fib and this weekly trend line that we have in place. So first area that I will be interested is 158, second will be 159, both for shorts. EURUSD, little more wary with this one. The previous area of support was the 13743 area, and it was also, I said during the week that I was using that as my target. On the weekly move, I was using it as a target because once price had broken this area here, I expected the 200 EMA to hold at least in the short term, and it did on Thursday. This held Thursday and then carried on down on Friday. So the difficulty is, do we look for a pullback to the 200 EMA at 137.43, or do we look a little further, maybe back to 50%, 138, and even up to 138.50? I'm less confident with this than the pound. However, the Swissy has now broken clear. It broke its weekly trend line a couple of weeks back. It's now carried on forward. It did pull back last week, and I've now fibbed this weekly candle. And the weekly candle, again, multiple reasons. We have the 50% fib and the 55 EMA, which is now flattened and turning on this weekly chart in the same area. So I will be looking to long the Swissy in the region of 1.0645. Euro yen, I like a lot of these yens have an interesting pattern. They are all well outside the Bollinger Band, and as I showed you last week, generally price will return. And of course the big question again is, where is it going to pull back to? Well, the previous area of support was the 124.36 area, which just so happens to be in between the 50% fib and the 61.8. So I will be looking around 124 for a possible short further down. Nothing on the monthly. Similarly, very similar pattern on the Aussie dollar yen. We broke through a daily 55 and a daily 200. Price is now below there. The Bollinger Band is open. Again, the Bollingers are crucial. If the Bollingers were to slam shut on any of these at the Monday open, then I would be very wary. But an area of multiple reasons again is 7900. We have this weekly 55, we have a daily 200, all in the same area as the 50% fib. So anywhere around here, I will be looking to short. Pound yen, not my favorite pair, but here again, multiple reasons. This 142 has been a strong area of support on the weekly. Again, this goes back to February of last year. Lots of spikes on this pair, which are always a worry. And the danger is it could spike all the way back up here and then fall away. But again, as long as the Bollingers don't close, I will be looking in the region of 142, even up as far as 142.50 for possible shorts. Again, stochastics pointing down. And again, on the monthly, we're now riding the 5 EMA and stochastics pointing down as well. Dollar yen, I'm less sure with the dollar yen, but we are riding the 5 down, stochastics pointing down as well. Again, this is the weekly chart. We have a strong area of previous support at 87. So if you are able to catch a move, perhaps on a pullback again here, then you would fib the weekly candle, and you would be looking in the region of 50% fib would be 90. Huge area of strong support and resistance from before, So again, that would be a good area to consider a short. I also have put this minor trend line in here as well for possible short. Again, look at the Bollinger Bands on Monday morning. Euro pound has clearly broken down. Bollinger Bands are wide open. Again, watch at market open. I showed you last week. I said that the Bollinger Bands would cross over this line and the price would reverse back up, and it did. And it went to the pip on a weekly chart to 55 EMA. The problem now is, where is it going to pull back to? Again, 87.25, 87.35. The further I go along this list, the less confident I am for a point of entry. I do think this is going to continue down. And here again on the monthly, the stochastics are pointing down, and we've just had a 5-8 cross. So once again, the entry is critical. And if we perhaps look on a daily area of previous support resistance was 87.16, but we're already no, not so sure on that one. But area to consider anywhere between 87.15 and 87.50. Final line in the sand, of course, would be this 55 on the weekly. Now gold pulled back, spiked highly up, and then pulled back again here on the weekly, and we have a trend line going down here, and therefore the start of a possible move back down. However, we are sat on a weekly 50% fib. This gives me some concerns with the Aussie dollar. This is the Aussie dollar on the weekly. We broke the 88 the other day, which was a strong area of support. The problem for me now is that the daily 200 is not too far below, and below that there is the weekly 55 here. So, looking for a pullback. A pullback would take you back to 87.50, perhaps all the way to 61.8, which is 88 area. So again, these are areas for interest. Again, specifically watch the Bollinger. If this opens, it would give you more confidence the pair is going to go down. The problem is it could be a limited move down. EUROCAD broke for the first time since December 2007. It broke 147. Logical area then, this is just a standard breakout and a pullback. You would be looking for 147. If we use the 50% fib, then we would be looking at 147.40 area, and there was a double bottom at 47.35. So anywhere between here and here would be areas to look for further shorts. New Zealand dollar, very similar to the Aussie dollar, so much underneath here on the way back down. If you were looking for pullbacks, I would perhaps go all the way as far to 70, 0.700 for a possible move back down. Finally, the CAD. CAD is spinning top, has broken the trend line, pulled back all the way to the previous candle the other day. If you want to look for a 50% pullback, that would be 1.650 area, which was a strong area of support and resistance. So again, look for 1.065. Right, that's it for the weekly. Move on to the daily charts.